The 2030 is going to mark the demographic turning point for the United States. Beginning that year, all baby boomers are going to be 65 and older, and only 4 years later in 2034, it is projected that the older adults will outnumber children in the United States for the first time in US history. Maybe this is also a good idea to start investing into real estate investment trust funds that are focused on healthcare and elderly care. These are only some of the facts that we're going to go ahead and discuss over the course of this video in order to create a conclusive viewpoint for the real estate market over the course of next 30 to 40 years. This should also help us identify what is the appropriate price to pay for a specific unit of a real estate, and in other words, will determine whether it's still beneficial to purchase the real estate property as the interests climb and we're entering another economic cycle. You can guess that this is still very beneficial to buy real estate on the long term. However, it is more important than ever to consider aspects like location, labor market, demographics, rental market, proximity to age-appropriate locations like retirement homes, universities, or school districts. Let's go ahead and look at how COVID-19 pandemic had influenced and changed the real estate market. According to the NPR, the real estate market had gone up by 19% over the course of last year. Interest rates had reached a record low of 2.65% in January of 2021. This means that if you bought a house for $300,000 before COVID and locked in 3.73%, you would end up paying $499,000 over the course of 30 years. But if you secured 2.67% interest rate, you would end up paying $436,000, which is $63,000 less, but just having a lower interest rate. Due to lockdowns, people had spent more time at home and adapted to teleworking. While it is nearly impossible to predict another pandemic, are there any other aspects that had already changed the real estate market that are going to stay and continue to influence the growth and stability and equity buildup in that market? Here are some of the facts that we learned. About 85% of all workers desire to have a teleworking capabilities for their job. People can save anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a year based on the location where they live and the type of commute they utilize in order to get to work. This equates to $5,000 to $10,000 pay raise, especially important for those who are setting their money aside or investing it. Flexibility to choose your own workplace is another very important aspect that people are now considering as they're searching for new jobs. The third fact that we had learned is that in-office workers are up to 40% less productive than those individuals who are having the ability to telework. And there are many other aspects like better mental health, it is more environmentally friendly to telework, and most important for this video is flexibility to live in more affordable areas. Knowing this, let's go ahead and take a look at the supply of the real estate on the United States markets. Supply of new homes had fallen short, not just because of the pandemic. From 2010 to 2019, we had the lowest amount of homes built than in any other decade before 1960s. In other words, we have already been experiencing a building up that shortage of houses on the market. However, the recent pandemic and spike in demand had acted as a catalyst to just emphasize the importance of building new houses. So what are the current projections of the amount of homes that are being built on the market and the population growth? Well, unfortunately, there is no long-term forecast that is accurately able to predict that correlation. This is largely due to the supply and demand fluctuations. As of March of 2022, construction of new homes soared by 22% in comparison to February of 2021. Building permits continue to be the sore point of the construction companies. However, supply of new homes is continuing to increase. Based on the current rate, there's going to be an increase in the United States population by 22.5 million people until 2030. However, if the new constructions are being built with the rate of 1.38 million per year, we'll end up with 13.8 new buildings by the end of the decade. This is good news for those who already own a house or planning on buying it in the future. Scarcity and barriers of entry are very important for the real estate market in order for them to keep up with inflation and create the safe environment for building up growth and equity on the markets. We'll talk about the relationship between the real estate and the population later in the video. However, right now, let's go ahead and focus on something else that has acted as a catalyst for change, which is cryptocurrency-related technology. How does blockchain tokenization impact the prices of the real estate? Many speculate that the blockchain technology will soon replace brokers, lawyers, and banks, the entities that have long been a part of the real estate ecosystem. On average, the closing costs are about 3 to 6% of the price of the house. On a $300,000 home, this can be anywhere between $9,000 to $18,000. Cryptocurrency and blockchain is the fastest implemented technology in the history of the world. However, it does make me want to make a step back away from the speculation and think about the quote that I heard. We're not going to have a great government because we have a good government. It is possible that the blockchain technology will replace certain aspects of home buying process. However, will it fully replace the home buying process for individuals? Let me know about what you think in the comment section below when it comes to this. And don't forget to connect with me by subscribing to the channel. Now, there are other ways that the blockchain technology is impacting real estate market. They use blockchain technology to facilitate real estate and rental property transactions. Investopedia mentions one of the companies that is currently prioritizing research in this industry, and it's called Atlant. In other words, they tokenize real property assets, and they can be traded much as like stocks on the exchange. Second realm of the impact can be the transparency that the blockchain technology provides during the fluid transaction of the purchase or sale of the real estate. Decentralized network can trim down the cost associated with that transaction. Let's keep all of that on the back of our mind and go back to the population growth and the impact it will have on the real estate. Today, there are more than 46 million older adults aged 65 and older living in the United States. By 2050, the number is expected to grow to almost 90 million. So between 2020 and the 2030 alone, the number of older adults is projected to increase by almost 18 million. Just to put it in perspective, within the next 30 years, the number of individuals who are 65 and older is projected to almost double. By looking at the heat map, we can identify the areas that will most likely see an influx of retirees within the next 3 upcoming decades. Let's keep it very simple and assume that the elderly adults of 65 and older are drawn to the warm weather. So let's think outside of the box. What external factors impact seasonal temperature outside? Climate change. Study published by Vox has a visual representation about the range of expected change in temperature. Assuming that the research and studies conducted over the course of the last couple of decades are correct, we can speculate that the areas along the east and west coast will become even more popular for retirement. States like Florida, Arizona, California, Washington State can continue to experience the most significant increase in population of adults over 65 years older. However, it is also possible that the states like Louisiana and North Carolina will become much more attractive for those who are retiring. These are only some of the aspects that we should consider as we are continuing to buy, sell, or rent our real estate properties. Overall, most of the predictions for the year 2022 and 2023 forecast slower growth in the prices of the real estate. However, due to the supply shortage, demand is expected to support the market price. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully we will get me to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the 2022. You never know. But until then, thank you so much, and till the next one.